Petra. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. And it feels like ages, doesn't it, since we were together like this?
Yes, I think the last time I was in Tanzania when we recorded, I was in Dar, and here we are. It's mid-year, so
I
yeah.
know, and we were just saying before we hit record, weren't we? It's scary. Yeah. You sort of were like, what didn't we just have like Christmas and New Year? And then you're like, oh my goodness. In fact, I looked at the date and I was like, it's the 25th of June. So it's literally, yeah. It's mad, isn't it? So you've been back from Tanzania now a few weeks. You've had a big birthday yourself, and you've had another big birthday in your family. So how has it been since you landed back in I guess, the bosom of your family?
Um, yeah, it's been amazing. I think first of all, I think it was a bit chaotic when I got back because I love having a routine. And when I got back, I didn't realize how much I had kind of lost my routine. Um, and so, well, instead of like just beating myself about it, I just recognized, I've been away for almost a month. Uh, I was not in any type or shape of routine when I was in Tanzania. I was just going with the flow. And then, okay, I'm here now, a working mom with a family, with a lot of big kind of things to plan. And, so long story short, we just turned a household of double digits. So everybody is double digits in my family right now. And leading up to all of that has been, a juggling business where you like, okay, did I get that right? Did I get that wrong? But at this point, I mean, I feel more relaxed. I actually had the time to reflect on my old routine and ask myself some questions. So I said, well, what was working in my past routine and what can I actually tweak? What can I change? And I realized there were things that were working, but there were things that were really like an autopilot. Okay, this is how I do it. And now I feel a little bit more aligned. Like I did a reset, and now I'm like, okay, I understand why I'm doing this. A good example was my workout. I used to do my workout like every night, and it involved a little bit of like lifting and things like that. And I just asked myself, like, is it actually a good idea to do this like 10-15 minutes before bed? I realized actually no, because after I finish my workout, I have too much energy and then I can't
Mm.
really like just fall asleep right away. So I had to switch that and do it an earlier time. And that allows me to actually be able to do a few things before bed and then wind down in a more kind of calm way. So
Mm.
it's really about pivoting always.
Mm. Mm. That's
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it? And I think sometimes it takes a almost, yeah, a change in the normal, a break, whether like you say it's something significant like yours was like big trip and for nearly a month, or a holiday, sometimes whatever it is, to then it's often the time, isn't it? People think, oh, hang on a minute, is what I'm doing serving me? And I guess I had something, and it's, I guess, slight, well, similar in terms of a pivot, I bet guess, but more in terms of the business. And I know we'd sort of exchanged some words on LinkedIn on this, haven't we? And I feel that what's come clearer to me since we last spoke is that I was, I think the way I was posting and writing on LinkedIn was trying to bridge too many things. It was trying to bridge all the one-on-one private work I do with overwhelmed working mums that find me. It was trying to appeal to corporates in a program point of view. It was trying to do a lot of things, whereas I have pivoted now to be really focused on, okay, so my audience on this platform is and I'm clear, so it's senior leaders, it's HR leaders. It doesn't mean that individuals may not find me there, but I've got other channels in which I do that. So I think it's like you say, those pauses to enable pivots are super useful, aren't they? And I wonder at what point, I wonder if there's almost, for anyone listening, if you haven't had a natural pause or something, then take this, like as you say, at mid-year. It's a really great point to think, okay, we're 6 months in, what am I really proud of? What have I achieved? um and as well, okay, well, would I have done anything differently? And then, okay, what do I want to go after for the next 6 months of the year, and any adjustments? I think that's really nice time to reflect on that.
Absolutely. And I think that as we are like in mid-year review or reflection, um, taking a pause is a powerful thing to do, because sometimes we just do things and we just continue to do things without taking the time to look at it and say, okay, is this serving my needs? Is this the direction I want to take? What am I learning from this journey up until this point? And I think mid-year is a perfect opportunity for us to look at our life, not only at work, but also at home and as a person. Because for me, for example, a pivot with Petra, it's really something that I think will grow. I'm still building it, but it really brings home the idea of looking at your life in like three big boxes if you are a working mother. So, as a person, as a worker, and as a family person. So, at home, how are you moving? What are the things that are working? What are the things that are not working? Then looking at work, okay, so within my career, like what is happening there? Am I feeling fulfilled? Am I just ticking boxes and getting awards? Or am I actually feeling that everything that's happening in the realm of work is actually supporting me as a person? And then obviously, my personal transformation started at me looking at myself in the big picture. It had been, I think, 5 to 6 years of working motherhood, and I realized that I had pivoted so much in my career. I moved from international development to public service. I have had the privilege of raising children in a foreign country, and I was just looking myself in the mirror and going, okay, but where is Petra? Who am I? Who am I becoming? And I encourage listening to take the time, if you are a working mom or anybody for that matter, like to think about, okay, what am I doing? Who am I? Am I just looking as a very achieved person who has achieved and ticked all the boxes, or am I actually feeling it? And I think this is where the true transformation comes from that pause, to really understand where you're at, and then to actually ask those big questions. Where am I going with this?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think it's, as you said, that it made me think, that is an act of kindness in itself, because it's only when we really reflect and look back and then think forward that we can we can make the changes. And I think I hear you in terms of that. It's, yes, often it is working mums, but it is more broad than that. But I think there is particularly an identity piece that comes with becoming a mum or becoming a parent, in terms of people sort of talk about feeling like they've sort of lost themselves, or they don't know who they are anymore. And I think it wasn't helped by there was the rhetoric of sort of like, oh, you'll be back, almost the bounce back, and not just the physical side, but actually, yeah, you'll get back to you, and actually, well, you are still you, but it's not about going back to something. You have fundamentally, well, if you're a woman and you've um you know gone through matrescence, then you are a different, you are physically, emotionally, psychologically, there's been huge shifts. So actually it's then around, okay, well, who am I, who is this next chapter of me, what do I want to achieve in this, what does success look like for me, what's the support I need, what are the boundaries I need to put in place, who's my tribe, what are the things I need to learn. And as you say, it's mid-year, and I spent so many years in sort of the corporate world and the machine, where automatically it would be mid-year would sort of get met with an eye roll, because it would then be like, oh, everyone would be like, oh, it's just HR now, being like, you got to do your bits in the and I can say that because I was in HR, but complete your forms and do your bits. But actually it's a really good habit to get into, because I think otherwise, yeah, we could sit here and be like, oh, it's the end of the year. And actually I could have made some small sort of those marginal gains if you do it periodically through.
Absolutely. And so, in the spirit of this mid-year reflection, actually, I think I was thinking this morning and I said maybe we can think about like three things, like when we look back, like what are the, three things that come to mind as some of the pivots that we've done in terms of being kind and being more conscious about what we're all about and why we're here and why we do what we do, and also like looking back as well as looking ahead. So what are, like, the three things that we are now committed to doing as we move forward into the last 6 months of the year. And I know that, at the beginning of the year, we do a huge New Year resolution, new year, new me, let's go, lots of energy, and, trying to build momentum. And then probably by February, you're like, okay, well, I don't even know what I thought about in
Yeah.
January. Wow, I mean, it happens to me. Um, but I think like I'm not looking at it in that lens of just big goals on a piece of paper that doesn't really move. So for me, actually, I'll start with my looking back and I'll invite you to do the same. So for me, 6 months before this moment, I was kind of like a dormant LinkedIn member. So I wasn't really moving. I wasn't doing anything there. I just probably just existed. I had a profile on LinkedIn. And, I hit pause 6 months ago. And that was big because it demonstrates the power of starting something, even when you don't feel ready, even when you feel scared and you don't really even know, you don't have like the full picture of what
Yeah.
exactly you want to do. But I knew then, and I continue to know even right now, that using my voice is important and showing up authentically is important. So 6 months ago, I made the promise. I said I'll show up as frequently as possible. I will be posting about 5 times a week about working motherhood, and of course I had this big goal of inspiring hope optimism and unlimited possibilities. And I think that when I look back, I'm so glad I did that first, pause. Uh, the second piece I think that I have become a little bit more aware of is my ability to recognize my needs. So when I started, showing up, I was all in, big momentum, big energy. And after a little while, there was a big thing happening in my family in Tanzania, and I started to get a little bit worried. And this is the story of a lot of people who live away from home. uh, I made that big decision to take the time and go home. And I think that was the biggest pivot because it had a lot of, psychological and other, kind of, emotional pieces to it. And when I did it, I decided to also take a pause from the socials for that month. um, I learned that you can actually connect more deeply with yourself and with what matters when you are away from all these noise, like, social media noise and just constantly, trying to be in too many places at once. And the last piece for me really has been the ability to set better boundaries. So I am a big giver and I like to give, and sometimes I forget about my own needs. So I have been repeating this statement to myself, like I deserve to have more energy. I deserve to live fully every day. I deserve to enjoy my life. Like I literally use this word deserve like very deliberately because sometimes I forget about it. I forget what I deserve. And, I've worked so hard up to this point. And so for me, using that kind of affirmation and reminding myself, even in times that I don't feel like I deserve that ice cream, I'm like, no, 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 I deserve that ice cream. It's hot out there and I feel like I need it now, so I don't have to wait until tomorrow. So those are my big kind of looking back moments. What about you?
It's really nice. And sorry, I'm just jotting these down because I thought when I load it, it might be nice to do a little synopsis. So I guess looking back, the first I would say is that kindness for success has become, it isn't just my business. It's um a way of life, I guess, for me. And what I mean by that is that yes, kindness for success is how I am building, my sort of income and my sort of next chapter in my working life. But I was surprised actually how little in times that I wasn't sort of practicing what I preach. So I would be talking on socials about the importance of being kind to yourself and taking micro moments. It doesn't all need to be spa days and all of those sorts of things. And I would be saying that, but then I would be working late into the evening once the kids were in bed, getting up really early to do some things, and then like not fitting in time for my run. So it was actually no, Kim, if this is it's around wrapping kindness for success around my life and it being sort of yeah all sort of a virtuous cycle. So actually it's a reminder to me of the importance of it, but also it's then fodder to fuel role modeling my brand and what I'm talking about, but and also to my children. We were watching telly last night and something came up about women and the importance of kindness at work. It was an advert for an insurance company. Actually, I've got in touch with them, and I sort of like looked at like this, and then my son was like, oh, "You, but you love that, mummy. Anything like women and kindness, that is what you do, isn't it?" And I just thought, "Yay, he gets it." So that was the first. The second, and this is probably yeah, this is the biggest pivot, as it were, from a kind of success point of view, which is that that I've realized that yes, transformation can happen through the work, through the partnerships that I have with women in either the group coaching or one to one. And it's amazing and I love it. And, I can see the difference that it's making. However, it's not enough. I want to make a bigger impact and I want to make a more systemic um, impact. So that's where I'm now, okay, within organizations, I can work with individuals. I can also support equipping line managers with the skills, the confidence, the knowledge to have the right conversations. And then I can work at the most senior level around, okay, well, what's your state of play in terms of current culture? What policies have you got? If you've got policies, are they just policies, as is the case in so many? So that's been quite a deliberate pivot. Um, and then the third, I guess it's not a pivot, but I guess it's a look back, and it's that I am really embracing, still sort of testing, learning, experimenting, exploring, and that's part of, I guess, founder life more than when you're in, or certainly when I was in my sort of employment, pay, employed days where, yes, you might you're encouraged to do some of that sort of innovative thinking or trying new things, but there would also be a lot of, you know, the standard process type things. So yeah, as I look back, I guess I'm proud that I'm still doing that, still trying, testing, learning, evolving. Um, yeah, so I guess those are my three look backs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go to looking forward because
Yeah, let's.
I like the idea of looking back and looking ahead. So for me, in the next 6 months, the first thing is that I'm looking for one working mom, like a career-driven, very ambitious working mom that is where I was 5 years ago. Just one. So this will be someone who has achieved a lot in terms of their career. They have achieved a lot in terms of their, family side. They're raising a beautiful family, but somehow they feel like something is missing. Like they
Mhm.
they don't feel like they're still their energetic selves. And as working mothers, we evolve, and so I want to meet them where they are in that season because I have done over a decade of this journey, of this dance. And so I would like to meet one working mom who is where I was 5 years ago. And I would like to walk alongside them and just share my story with them, share my system with them. And somehow my hope or my dream will be that they can pivot forward and they can be able to unlock, some energy. They can have more alignment in their lives and they can feel more fulfilled. They can wake up every day knowing exactly what they're doing and not feeling that, they're less than or they're not enough. So that's one big goal I have in the next 6 months. The second big goal I have for the next 6 months is to launch a small event here in the city of Ottawa, where I meet with working moms to just have a pause because we have been running on empty for so long. And I just want to have a few, it could be maybe 5 to 10 or 15 working moms within my community, within my city. And we will have a midday get together. It could be like a Saturday afternoon at a cozy place and we meet with no strings attached. We just talk about the realities of working motherhood. And I can use that as an opportunity to share my own journey, my own transformation story, and hope that, some of my people within my community will be able to see that they're not alone. So that's my second goal, and I'm hoping to do that in the next 6 months. The last one is about me. So I don't want to forget me because I think I told you before, my philosophy is grounded on how we cooked when I was growing up in Tanzania. We had three rocks, right? And we have to always make sure that the third biggest rock, which is me, is not tilted. It has to stand still because otherwise there's no dinner, food falls apart, and the whole building is on fire. So me, I am thinking about two things for me. The first one is my health. So I am reading The Five Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom, and it really just put the nail on the head when it comes to, like, actually making sure you're taking care of yourself, making sure you're taking care of your health, and I actually reflect on it quite a lot now, and I want to put more emphasis on drinking more water, just having a sustainable way of just working out and making sure that I'm maintaining a good health. So that's one thing that I'm doing for me. And of course, I somehow feel me is also an extension of my family. So I want to play more with my family. I want to be very intentional about creating playtime and just like deeper connections. I think when we get to middle motherhood and we're like all double digits, it's like we are literally counting down to like the time where I hate to say that we're not so much needed, but that's the reality. Like, I mean, in the next, let's say, 10 years, I'll have people in uni. and and like we will still, I pray and hope we will still have a good relationship, but that's not gonna be like something that, you're always okay, let's go to the park. Like yesterday we were
Yeah.
literally at a water park and everybody was getting wet. Like that's not gonna be that. So I want to cultivate deeper connections and like playtime with my family, and just like continuing to grow it together and enjoy everything in this middle motherhood season. Back to you. What about you? Looking
Oh,
forward.
I've not heard of that as a phrase before, Petra, middle motherhood season. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Um, so I guess for me, as I look forward, I want to continue to, as I say, make a bigger impact. So I guess to quantify that, I'm running I've got a webinar that I've built around making the invisible load visible. Um, that I am running in an organization next month. And I would like to run that in at least I would like to run that three more times in the next 6 months. So there, I've said it out loud. So that's a bit of an accountability piece, and I can manifest as well. And I guess that the plan is that from there, but then you have the partnership, and then sort of it deepens in terms of my other pieces. Um, Secondly, I want to be I'm going to be bolder with some of my connections. So I'm reading a really great book at the moment called Motherkind. And it's by Zoe Blasky, who she's got a podcast of the same name. And I mean, she's got thousands of followers. And I am going my I'm going to repeat my 15 for kindness, my live stream that I did for 15 hours last year. And I'm going to be bold in in some of the people I approach onto that. And it is going to be, last year it was all around ways to extend ourselves kindness, or reminding ourselves of how to be kind to ourselves. That will remain, but I'm niching it down further, and it will be around it will be targeted predominantly at mums, because I think, well, not I think, women um, do have a set of different transitions to navigate, whether it's, you know, menstruation cycle, whether it's maternity, whether it's matrescence, whether it's menopause, whether it's um you know, caring responsibilities. So I really want to get specialists within that, I guess, sort of motherhood space. So watch the space on 15 for kindness. And then the third is similar, I guess, similar in some ways to you, Petra. And it's around my I guess, way of managing having my own business and making the time for me. You know that I sort of, running is something that's important to me, so do that. But one thing that I have spoken about before, and I have actually has had some really good results with, is less of a relationship with my phone. So, you know, I have either not had it with me, or I find that because I take quite a lot of photos, I'm like, oh, I want to have my phone, but then I just have it on do not disturb. So if I am out with kids, whatever, and I want to take a photo, I can still do that, but I'm not, you know, Um, and also in the evenings, I have been putting it on do not disturb and then leaving it in a different room. And then even if it's, you know, sometimes you do just want to crash on the sofa and watch something, don't you? But I've actually done that, watched the program properly, and then actually fallen asleep much more easily, than when it's like, oh, I need to, oh, I didn't pay the football thing, or oh, I need to order that, or oh, I've got a message on LinkedIn, or oh. So I think there's a piece around, you know, again, more of the practice what I preach, but also the role modeling that I'm giving to my children. I want them to see me resting. Um, I want them to see me more present. Um, so yeah. So I guess as we come to, you know, towards the end, it's around encouraging, again, you know, this is, I guess, an invitation to those listening to yeah, take some time and think about, okay, well, if you did the same exercise, and I mean, that's, we hadn't I was jotting things down as you were sort of chatting then, but you know, I hadn't prepared that. So ask yourself, okay, if you look back, you know, what are three things even that stand out to you as wins or pivots or moments where you're kind to yourself, whatever is relevant as you look back against the last 6 months. And then what are the three things that you're going to commit to support you in your goals in the second half of this year.
I love that. Really love that. And I will say quickly, like what I was like writing frantically when you were talking, and two things that stood out for me: the phone business, right? Like the relationship with the phone is like an epidemic, or maybe it's a new pandemic. I don't know what to call it, but I recently started calling Sundays Serenity Sundays. That means I leave my phone in my office and then I just move about my business. Um, it's became a bit harder when I came back because I wasn't practicing it when I went away. But right now, I'm actually, you just reminded me I should definitely reinforce that and just like put this phone in my office and be within, just like within reach. And that
Mm,
brings me to the second point about presence. So, presence is not about being around,
mm,
presence is about being fully there. Like you can be sitting there with your family, but your mind is thinking about your
mm,
work, it's thinking the email, it's thinking about something else. So I think the idea of practicing being fully present is something that I will be embracing. I've been thinking about it quite a lot, and I think that's something that I will kind of continue to embrace. So when I go to the park, I am at the park and I'm looking at the kids, throwing water at each other, and I am looking at my kids enjoying and running and giggling, and I'm taking it all in. And then when I'm in this, podcast or recording we're doing right now, it's not a podcast yet. I am here with you. I'm talking to you. We're
Yeah.
talking together. Like, I want to really build that muscle because we're
Mm.
slowly losing it. And so I think that brings us to like wrapping up moment. I am really grateful we had this moment to chat. I really enjoyed how natural it was. We didn't really plan any of this, but we just went in authentically. I will invite everyone who is listening to these two voices right now to take a moment, pause, look at yourself, think about what you thought you would be doing in the last 6 months. Of course, life happens. I'm not intending to say, or to put like some shame if things didn't go, but like, this is a beautiful moment. You've got this time to look back and say, okay, for the last 6 months, this is how it went. There were some surprises here and there, and these are the things that I'm so proud that I was there for these things, these moments. And now, okay, going forward, what am I manifesting for the next 6 months? What is it that I want? Because there's so much power in manifesting. So take that moment, reflect,
Absolutely.
look back, and look ahead. So, yeah, this is Pivot with Kindness, and Petra signing off.
And signing off, Kim. And thank you so much, as always, Petra. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hang on, hang on.
All right.
We're getting a bit of bonus here. Right. Okay,
Okay.
stop